we carry on the journey of auditing, self-audits. And this one is dear to my heart, and we audit content. Look at the content that you are consuming. Books, movies, music, YouTube, social media. Look at the content that is available to you, the things that you consume, and understand that when we say that the 5 people who you surround yourself with are the ones that you become most like, that includes social media content. So if you're always, I'll give my own example. I was completely addicted to, what are they called? True crime, the movie shows, but before that, the murder mysteries, the books. I used to absolutely love them and devour them, and I read and I read and I read and I read. And in fact, it is that that graduated to become the true crime addiction. And I watched and I watched and I watched and I watched. And it took someone telling me, and this is someone that I was following on social media, on YouTube, saying that this is an unhealthy habit. It had never crossed my mind as anything as such. I just thought that this is what I do for entertainment. It is an unhealthy habit to the extent that it makes you think that the world is unsafe. And I was completely flabbergasted. And in fact, there's also another friend of mine who actually told me that. Because he was giving me, we were talking about something, and I was saying how I would never do that because it's unsafe. And he looked at me and wondered why would that be my go-to? And then that is when I started realizing that these things have an actual impact on my life. So I'll give another example from the Kenyan context. A lot of the radio shows that I used to listen to were very misogynistic. So all these radio hosts who talk about women as less than, women being less than. And we are told that this is the traditional setup in the African traditional society, the woman was small. And because there's really no alternative voice, I began to believe that. And I didn't realize that this was seeping into my subconscious and teaching me that I was less than. And this belief of being less than is something that then bleeded out into my dating experience, because that's what I was doing. Being less than meant that I was the one trying to get picked. I was the good girl trying to do everything that a good wife should do, trying to become wife material, because that's what I was hearing on those shows. So all of this just to give the example that the media you're consuming is super important. And you need to keep auditing your algorithm. What does it send you? There's a time I was only interested in watching things that were entertaining, that were funny. But then I also needed to relook at what I considered funny, because sometimes it is some underlying message that is not that wholesome. So audit, look at what your algorithm is sending you and change it. Don't spend any time watching the things that are not aligned to the person that you're trying to become. You have your vision. Your vision is in the future. You're seeing the higher version of yourself. And that is a version of you that you're working towards. So is it worth having this laugh, this couple of jokes, this couple of minutes laughing at this joke that is bad, not bad, bad is the wrong word, that is not wholesome. Laughing at things that bring you down more than they raise you up. You need to remember that your vibration, your energy level is what is going to get you to your higher self. And if you keep being dragged down by these things that used to be you, that you used to find entertaining, then you shall never get there. There you go, food for thought.